Hi, welcome back to the Warriors Brew podcast. This is part two of From Rat to Warrior episode, and I will title this episode as The Cause of Conviction. So, in the last episode, I actually spoke about choosing conviction over comfort. What I didn't talk about was what that choice stripped away, not just financially, but in terms of identity. And what it meant for me as a man and as the sole breadwinner of my family. The name Red to Warrior isn't just a metaphor for me, it is actually a line I crossed. So, as you know, for most part of my adult life, basically it was career as the anchor. And for most of, I guess, our adult life, this identity is clear. And for me, I was an employee, I was a professional, I was a provider of my family. And career wasn't just what I did, it was really who I was. And as a sole breadwinner, I took pride in that. I mean, if you ask or look around, not many families can actually survive on a single income. But I managed to do that, right? And providing wasn't just a responsibility, it was dignity, it was worth. And I believe many men also live this way. Our careers become the anchor for our identity. They give us structure, direction, a way to measure ourselves, performance, results, progress. And when the anchor is there, life feels solid. Now, when the anchor is removed, and as I stepped away, that anchor disappeared. Suddenly, there was no title, there was no organization, there was no system to lean on. And all was left wasn't a role, it was just me. And I had to face a question that I never really asked before: who am I when my career no longer defines me? That question didn't come with quick answers, and it exposes you. Well, there's that kind of fear that only shows up when you are responsible for others. And in this aspect, I found the weight of the finances falling on to me, and I found myself doing that math in my head almost all the time. It's not about growth, it's not about ambition, but it's about survival. I remember calculating something very basic. What would it take to keep my family fed every day? Nothing fanciful, right? Just 3 simple meals a day. Just like most families out there in Singapore, having just enough. And it came up to about $40 a day, 40 Singapore dollars. Well, that number stayed with me because when you are an employee, fear is almost abstract. But then when you step out on your own, fear becomes practical. You feel it in your body, you feel it in your sleep. It comes to you in the quiet moments when no one is really watching. So I guess to meet the number, I jumped into a survival mode. I began to look for gigs, anything. Things from ranging from pet sitting for others. At one point, it was really funny. We were just doing pet sitting for our neighbor's dog and just cleaning up after them, you know. Yeah, that was really funny because I've never had a pet in my own life or even in my family. So that was really interesting how we just jumped into it. I was doing bike deliveries as well because I had a motorbike. So I guess why not? Just do simple deliveries, right? Point A to point B kind of thing. I was doing odd jobs that had nothing to do with my professional identity and training. So one of those was I was helping to run children pool parties, right? So children basically, some families decide to throw a birthday party and they needed some people to just run pool parties for their kids' friends, and I was doing that. Yeah. And I guess after a while, it didn't matter anymore whether that work was professional when survival instinct kicks in, because pride really changes the shape. And what mattered was simple: keeping my family fed. And that was a humbling place to stand. Trust me. Another shift that I wasn't prepared for was this: I was on my own. I couldn't fall sick. I realized that I can no longer take leave when I was tired or when I was worn out, or simply when I just wanted to, go on holidays. There was no one for me to cover me. And if something didn't get done, it was on me. If I didn't show up, there was no backup. That kind of pressure strips away a lot of illusion, and it teaches you what responsibility actually feels like. So, well, as you maybe begin to question, why did I name this episode as Red to Warrior? What does red mean? So for me, when I use the word red, I'm not talking about weakness. For me, red meant staying in line, being in check, doing what I was told, even when it crossed my convictions and beliefs. It meant giving up my voice, not questioning, not pushing back. Not because I didn't feel the comfort. No, sorry, not because I didn't feel the discomfort, but because staying quiet actually felt safer. And that's how I guess many men survive. And over time, survival just become obedience, compliance, just becoming yes men. And the shift to a warrior mindset is not really about fighting the war. It was really about making a stand and staying with it. I could have swallowed it down, pretended it didn't matter, and gone on with life and not rock the boat, right? Many people do that. But I realized something quietly and clearly. If I gave up my voice there, I would slowly lose myself even more everywhere else. And that was the line that I guess I wasn't prepared to give up. So what warrior actually means? To me, warrior means not somebody who attacks, but warrior to me is somebody who chooses consciously and carries the weight of that choice. It is somebody who stays when it will be easier to walk away. Not to win an argument, not to prove a point, but to just remain aligned with who he says he is. And most of that fight is actually invisible. And it's actually also very exhausting. So for me, Red to Warrior isn't about becoming fearless. It is about refusing to abandon yourself when staying silent will be easier. That choice is what begins the path.